Every sport has their iconic locations. For beach volleyball, Manhattan Beach is it. On your calendar, if you want to win a big event, you come to the north side of the pier, enter Stadium Court, and see if you can come out victorious. Welcome to Championship Sunday, everyone. The women's semifinal, number one, will kick us off. Brasher and Cruz against Van Winkle and Van Winden. Kevin Barnett alongside gold medalist Rich Lamborn. Cameron Irwin will be on the sand as we look at our women's bracket the way it has laid out. Van Winkle, Van Winden, couple of giant victories. Brasher and Cruz have been on cruise control, Rich.
They absolutely have, yeah. The 1 and 2 seeds made it to our women's semifinals. After that, it was a crapshoot out there in the women's draw.
So Brasher and Cruz, of course, the Austin Aces in AVP League play. Cheng and Kraft, the Miami Mayhem in AVP League play. Two of the favorites coming in. Van Winkle and Van Winden handed another favorite their first loss on the elimination tour that it was for Melissa Jimena-Paredes and Brandy Wilkerson.
Yeah, Van Winkle and Van Winden, a newer partnership, but they've been cutting their teeth internationally as well. Recently down in the Rio Elite on the Beach Pro Tour internationally. So this is a team that keeps racking up experience, and they got some big wins, as you mentioned.
Those that are familiar with AVP League play will know the name Abby Van Winkle. Actually subbed in last year after an injury to Tony Rodriguez down in our San Diego event for the San Diego Smash. So she is back with a new partnership here. And interestingly enough, Abby Van Winkle, previously a blocker, now playing defense.
Yeah, doing so very well, though. Had 20 digs in a match yesterday. And both of these girls, we talk a lot about the NCAA program in the United States. Both of these girls, products of that system that seems to produce a never-ending stream of talent to the AVP.
Yeah, Abby Van Winkle now part of the USA training group, and opting back into this lifestyle is Van Winden. Tori Van Winden, one-time UCLA indoor star who would go onto the beach, then suffer some knee injuries, and has just recently recommitted to being a full-time beach professional after playing once or twice a week, keeping in touch with it. And now she has joined Abby Van Winkle. This new partnership could be powerful. Abby telling me that there's a thought that maybe two bigs is the future for the sport of beach volleyball. We're not going to tell the other side, who we'll introduce in a moment.
Well, when you're at 6'3" and 6'2" as a team, and you can come up with the kind of defense that they've been producing, she may just be right.
Not two bigs on the other side. You are familiar, if you watch beach volleyball at all, with Team TKN. That is Taryn and Kristen Nation right now. Taryn Brasher on the right, Kristen Cruz on the left. Cruz, the true defender at 5'6". They've won this event 2 years running, trying to become one of just a few partnerships to win this event 3 times in a row. It's been done 3 times in a row a number of times. It's been done 4 times in a row previously by Misty and Carrie. As Taryn Brasher takes the sand, now 29 years old, 6'4", she'll be at the net and be dominating. And behind her, the most efficient defender to attack at 5'6", Kristen Cruz has continued to just put on a clinic.
Yeah, she absolutely has. I mean, the foot speed, the anticipation, she has every quality that you would want in an elite defender. And she's continually putting that on display, not only to the great success of her team, but to the delight of us as volleyball fans.
These women have yet to lose a set in this tournament as they seek the three-peat. Cruz and Brasher on the left, on the right. The pink VWs yesterday, they were wearing special suits, a special fit to honor the Van Winden history in this game. We'll get to more of that. Their cousin Katie, or her cousin Katie Spieler, is in the coach box for them today. A different fit and a different challenge in the #1 team in the United States, the #1 team in the world. Right away on 2, and that is successful. Van Winden with the first kill.
Yeah, look for that to be a big part of their game. We know that Cruz and Brasher like to push the tempo, like to play that option. Well, it's becoming pretty ubiquitous in the sport these days. And Winkle and Van Winden are going to utilize it a lot as well.
Van Winkle to serve and continue to play defense. Right there, and here's where she can be deadly at 6'2", even off the net, heating it up. Cut shot there, a pulling dig once again from Taryn Brasher. That's been an add this year to her game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like she wouldn't need to do that. She's got the world's speediest defender behind her, but adding those little upgrades continually keeps this team at the top of the world rankings.
They'll work on Van Winden. She'll go high line. That'll find exactly the line, and it's 2-1.
Always nice when you send a shot close to the line to see that rope bouncing.
Working on Brasher to start, and she'll find the line as well. Another smooth side out.
Yeah, sometimes that is the strategy against teams that play a heavy amount of option, is go after the option player. So at least you know where the third contact is coming from.
That ball just out of bounds. Abby Van Winkle trailing it and making sure.
Yeah, to the notion that two bigs is the way to go.
Okay.
That may be true. I think a lot of things are very situational, right? Like this pairing of Van Winkle, Van Winden, very good as two women above 6 feet. I don't know that you can just start to piece together two tall women and that's automatically going to be a good thing in beach volleyball, right? Obviously, Taryn and Kristen would be an example to the contrary, right? Chemistry is such a big part of this two-person sport, and how you fit together, what your particular skill sets are, and how well they mesh is a huge part, aside from just your height.
And just like Kristen is incredibly special at 5'6", and her capability, because she's on the small end of things, as she digs one there for her partner to put away on top of the net. On the opposite side of tall players, you can't necessarily find a special defender who happens to be 6'2", or April Ross being the earlier example of being an outside hitter who can play defense and come in transition and really embody that role while being a taller defender.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if we, using your example, Alex and April were technically two bigs. I mean, we think of Alex as the big in that team because she was 6'5", but April Ross also 6'1", so that was maybe the prototype gold medalist in 2021.
Brasher and Cruz just a 2-point lead here. That ball tight. Good reset by Van Winden, who will find the left-handed poke over the top of the defender.
Yeah, really nice job to get her feet to that tight set initially and kind of recycle it into the block. The block can be your friend. Not always, but if you use it appropriately. Kind of like you, Kevin. Can be a friend, not always.
It depends on the day. Hard driven dig by Van Winkle. Yeah, Kristen will spot you one the other direction and put it away into the corner. Both defenders picking up big shots.
Yeah, Abby looks fantastic defensively so far in this match. The problem is she's facing off against the best defender in the world.
Well, she had 20 digs in that three-setter against the Palm Beach Passion. And 7 of those came in that third set, only to 15, as Van Winkle efficiently sides out there. Again, I asked her about that set, and she said, I figured out the angles were so sharp, I need to step up a little bit and dig some of those hard drivens. And that is what the difference was in that set. Ended up being 15-13 for this team. Van
We'll take that switch at 8-6.
So 8-6. Side change. Remember, if you've been joining us for AVP League play all season long, we have our Chicago Championships coming up over Labor Day weekend. We played a 15 there, win by 2. Here we're playing a 21, win by 2 in the first 2 sets. Third set, if necessary, will be to 15. Van Winden, left side. And we'll have a call on the hands of Van Winkle there. Rich, you like that one or hate that one?
Well, by kind of the current standards, I think that might be a touch tight. I do think it was not a great contact. You didn't get much argument from Abby, so that's usually a good indication that it was a pretty good call.
Right back to the hands. That one beautiful. And the side out perfect. Van Winden with the kill there. So she's come back to this game with the mindset of have fun, work hard, expect nothing, earn everything. I left out another word there, fired up. There was a word right before fired up, Rich, that I don't think we can say even on the internet.
Was it another F word?
Oh, good pull across her body. Taryn Brasher with the kill.
Showing tremendous range. When she's got that shot working, we know she hits the hard angle well. She can kind of chop you up in that direction. And that cross body swing is dialed. And she is a handful.
The BW team hanging tough here. Off the net. And that one just wide right. They've given up a few here to 11-7.
This is kind of how their matches have certainly gone this week and how a lot of their matches go in general, them meaning Taryn and Kristen. They're just consistent, right? And you just have these little leaks. Tori and Abby obviously playing very well, but 1 or 2 leaks and all of a sudden you find yourself down 4.
And then they make plays like that. Kristen cutting it for the winner. God, she is just the textbook of how to slice and dice in transition.
Yeah, that position, it almost looks like Taryn is standing off the court and Kristen is just digging everything.
12-7. He needed side out, not there. Kristen with another spot on read. Did she get a touch? No, that one just long. The Austin Aces this year went 3 up, 3 down in league play. And the part of the 3 down was kind of an increase in errors. It appears they've cleaned that up in their last couple of appearances, both in league play, finishing up their regular season, and here into Manhattan Beach.
Well, yeah, they closed out league play with straight set victories, right, in both of their final 2 matches as Kristen misses that one back to back. And then, as you mentioned, they haven't dropped a set here in Manhattan Beach, so they are on a tear.
On a tear until the last couple of points. 12-9 will take us to the technical timeout here. Still a good lead.
For some reason, when I'm getting served, and you're like, I need like
Got it. Back to yelling.
Yeah. It's almost like if I hear it as a question, I'm questioning it, but if you're authoritative, I'm like,
I got you.
Yeah.
I think that will bring up our energy because we're good energy, but we're a little bit quiet, and it's like music playing the whole time. It's so weird. I don't know, but let's control. Like you guys have to just be loud together. I'll try to be loud. Let's watch for their anything. I love the pulls on Kristen, and then anything that we're swinging at, let's go perimeter because she's sliding into our middle. Okay. Yeah, she's sliding into both your teams. Yeah. And Tori, keep leading Abby, and then you keep Tori up and down.
yeah, perfect, perfect.
Here we go. Yes, love it.
Katie Spieler there in the box with Van Winkle and Van Winden. She's actually cousin to Tori Van Winden, part of the first families of volleyball, perhaps the first family of volleyball there up in Santa Barbara.
I think Tori Van Winden might have just become my favorite beach volleyball player for casually using authoritative in a timeout.
Like that?
Yeah, wanting to hear the calls from Abby a little more authoritatively.
How about now? Set me right side. Oh, again, nice dig by Kristen. This ought to be turned over.
Ooh, finds the baseline.
Van Winden spot on.
Right on the line, 10-12.
They've won 3 in a row here over the technical timeout.
3 points for Van Winkle and Van
Couple
Winden.
hitting mistakes, and then that beautiful shot right on the baseline.
They have Cruz a little off balance. Nice pulling dig. Van Winden off the net, cranks it anyway. It's 4 in a row. Van Winkle mentioned that to me before this match. He said, look, we can, either one of us can be 8 or 10 feet off and still put a little pace on the ball because we're 2 hitters, 2 bigs, and they're doing some damage here.
Yeah, that's when you can kind of open up the hitting window like that, becomes a huge advantage.
There's a hitting window as well. That will not be a block. That'll be 2 contacts as called here.
She says that ball was initially touched.
Just because you make the blocking shape while on the ground, does that still count? Was she in the air?
I think until you're right next to the net, it only counts as waving your hands in the air as if you just don't care.
So you're saying that was not a block? Kelly does it all the time. She jumped too.
Yeah, that is the correct call, not a block. It's a wonderful play, but not a block. I like the good, less authoritative in the debate with the up official.
So perhaps a break for the #1 seed. And good response there by Team VW.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the composure with which Van Winkle and Van Winden play. Not an easy task. Championship Sunday, semifinals of Manhattan Beach, #1 team in the world. And they're just out there doing their thing.
Bad pass. It's just saved, but that'll be another point, and we are tied at 13 apiece. You know, neither of these women on the Team VW, strangers to big moments. 2023 was the final season for Abby Van Winkle at UCLA, 2-time All-American. Played a lot of big matches for that team that was at the top of the NCAA. Nobody home there for Cruz.
That is such a crafty little baby line shot. You could see Van Winden pulling into the angle, trying to induce that cut shot that we know Kristen can go to. The vision impeccable.
Oh, Kristen Cruz under another one. Back up out of the sand. And that's a winner. So right back to their rhythm, and a 2-point lead come Brasher and Cruz as we're approaching the final stretch of set #1.
Each team gets 1 timeout to use as they choose per set.
Yeah, perfectly placed up the middle. It's so critical when a blocker's pulling off the net against you. The tendency is to swing at the pulling blocker. If you can go around them to either side, it's such a better swing. What a layout dig.
And then the control to even get a shot off, but it is wide right. 15-14. This is the first of 2 women's semifinals as we arc towards another Manhattan Beach Open championship match. On the women's side, Maddie Anderson, Elena Chacon will face off with Kelly Cheng and Megan Kraft. That is the LA Launch versus the Miami Mayhem in the other half of the bracket. That ball pushed to the net, pushed too far, but it's a winner. Lucky break, Brasher and Cruz.
Little shoulder shrug from Kristen Cruz, says we'll take it. Not how you draw it up, but much like the trickle ace, you're not looking to give it back.
Oh, absolutely not. You'll take all the points you can get. A bit of extra sand cleanup time for Van Winden.
Yeah, it's warm and steamy already. We're just past 8 a.m. Sun's out.
And you've got the guns out, so we're all set.
15-16.
Felt appropriate.
Van Winden at the net, Van Winkle to serve. Good touch. I'll have to go with pace. No. That will be with pace in return.
Yeah, that is phenomenal control again from Kristen Cruz on that contact defensively. You know, we talk about how speedy she is as a defender, but I don't know if we spend enough time talking about the quality of contacts that she makes on those digs.
That often a discussion with Misty May Trainer and her abilities, as Van Winkle just unloads on one there. Good volleyball lineage for both these women on the VW side. Mom Lori Van Winkle, 2 national titles indoors with UCLA. Van Winden unable to make the play there, but mentioned she's part of volleyball royalty, the Strand family. 4 kids, Lisa, Kelly, Kathy, and Warren, for Dad Leon, who once hired Karch Karai to help dig the foundation for the family home. Oh, how about that? This gentleman's name is Karch. He'll be digging the footing over here.
I didn't know the greatest of all time, Karch Karai, formerly ditch digger.
Yes, yes,
Karch Karai.
Yeah. Much like one-time carpenter Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
But the Strand family has a court named after themselves, or named for them in honor of them, at East Beach up there in Santa Barbara, just north of our location. On the right-hand side there, you're looking at the next generation Van Winden. Mom and Dad, Mom Kelly, Dad Jim met in college. Jim, a basketball player, Mom starring on the volleyball court. As we look at how they got here, Rich, that big win was in the second round.
Yeah, that second round win, huge. And that win against Durish Koenig, also big in 3 sets. That's another up-and-coming team on the women's side, product of the NCAA system. That, I mean, we have all of these teams playing not only on the AVP, but internationally as well. I mean, we'll have 10 to 12 women's teams representing the United States in a 24-team field in some of these international tournaments. It's phenomenal how deep the level of talent is on the women's side in this game.
You mentioned Durish and Koenig. They took out Humana Paredes and Wilkerson in the contenders bracket. Again, another 3-setter, and again 15-13. Durish and Koenig would then lose to Van Winden. Van Winkle yesterday to get to this match. 15-11 was the 3rd set score there. A lot of volleyball been played by these 2 women. How much do they have left in the tank? Here enough to make that play. Kristen Cruz gets the trickler you were talking about. She's not giving it back.
Yeah, absolutely. A little improvisation there on the tight pass. Just popping it over. A little ebb and flow in this first set, Kev. Cruz, Brasher got off to a quick lead. The VWs fought their way back, but Cruz and Brasher on a little bit of a run here now.
Yeah, just as soon as we were talking about kind of the lethality of mistake-free volleyball for Brasher and Cruz, they made a couple of mistakes. The other side made a couple of plays. And it was 4 in a row, but right back on top go Brasher and Cruz on a weird play.
A weird one indeed, and I wonder if there was momentary hesitation from Van Winden there, because she wasn't exactly in perfect blocking position. We saw that call go against her earlier. Looked like there was maybe a little jab step to go after that second ball.
Set point. Brasher and Cruz. Oh my, it would have been 3 through the cable late in this one. Instead, we'll have set point number 2 here for the number 1 seed. Looking for a few here in a row. They've done it earlier in the set. Still working on Cruz. And she will cut you.
Yeah, that is Ginsu level stuff there for the win in set number 1. Kristen Cruz, deadly.
They got a good push in the middle, did Brasher and Cruz, but the number 1 seed continues to be undefeated in sets here in Manhattan Beach. 21-17, the conclusion with this cut shot.
Yeah, closing extremely strong, Lee.
Number 1 seed is up 1-0. Will they close it in 2, or will we have a thriller to start our championship Sunday?
Maybe throw a couple big ones in there. Maybe just try this. Hi, Gabriel. Good morning. Sounds great out here. Anna, great to see you. DJ Amy, fantastic work as always.
Top and below. I like below. Okay.
Here she comes. Come on out here, intern Hannah. Intern Hannah is, well, she's just a volleyball person, ladies and gentlemen. She is the one we want to be working with. Do we pay you, intern Hannah? You get paid? Good. Just making sure, because we did not used to pay the interns, but we needed to pay you. Give it up for Hannah, everybody. I want to actually, on three.
The Manhattan Beach Pier, a iconic surf spot as well as a volleyball spot. A lot less surf today. Yesterday was a good 6 to 8 occasional bigger, and people were getting smashed here in the first set. And Winkle Van Winden did not get smashed, but they did suffer a couple of stretches where Brasher and Cruz were lethally efficient.
Yeah, 538, even with those few errors, uncharacteristic errors, we would say. That's how deadly they were the rest of the time. Decent numbers from Van Winkle and Van Winden, but it takes kind of a monumental effort to overcome a Brasher Cruz team that is playing at the height of their powers.
So if you were in the box, you were Katie Spieler right now for Team VW, Van Winkle, Van Winden. What would be your advice headed to set 2 as they serve Cruz once again and kick it off?
Yeah, I think we've got to serve tough. That's kind of always where I start. That's an excellent start for the VWs as well.
How about swinging in transition after a nice layout dig there?
Well, yeah, again, going back to the notion of two bigs, I think the chemistry between the two players is kind of the #1 thing you're looking for, right? This is as good as we've seen Van Winkle look, I think. We've seen her a lot. You mentioned she filled in last season in the league, but she's really found something here in this partnership with Van Winden, it seems like.
Oh, missed shot from Brasher. So a good start right out of the box. Katie Spieler must have had some excellent advice.
Well, part of what's changed, right, is they were going after Taryn Brasher with their serve a lot during the first set. Now switching that up to Cruz. Sometimes those tactical changes are very important. You got to make those real-time adjustments in matches.
Bad pass once again. Brasher back in position at the net. Full run up for Van Winden, and she puts it out of the reach of Cruz. It's 3-0. Coach Drew actually here this week. Maybe he'll call a timeout if it's 4-0.
Yeah, I don't know if they rented him a Sprinter van or if he actually got on an airplane.
Whole family in attendance here for Taryn Brasher, as they do get their first side out of this second set, and we get an opportunity to check in with Cameron Irwin on the sound.
Well, you guys were just talking about Drew Hamilton. I actually just was asking him how he made his way all the way across the country from Louisiana, and he said, yes, he in fact did get on a plane. He's not a big fan of flights. However, for this one, he wanted to come out. They've been out since Thursday, getting a little extra time here in Manhattan Beach and flying back on Monday. But he also showcasing some pretty unique nail colors, and I asked him about it because he has brought out so many different collegiate athletes to train alongside Team TKN out in New Orleans, and he said with everybody coming out, you kind of want to engage and have a good time with those that train alongside him. So definitely a little bit of that extra connection with his ladies in the box this afternoon, guys.
And a Wild Castle jersey from San Antonio. The fit of Drew is something unique.
He's a style icon. Another hitting mistake there, Kristen Cruz, and it's an excellent rebound start here in set #2 for Van Winkle and Van Winden. And how about the ace, Kev?
Yeah, float that one right down the middle. It falls off the countertop and in for a 6-1 advantage. And Drew Hamilton doesn't know what's going on. He's got his hands up looking at us. I don't know.
We saw him yesterday at one point walking by on a side change, counting on his fingers the number of points he felt his team had given away thus far in the match. Just doing the shoulder shrug this go around. There's another.
And that one is out, completely off balance. The #1 seed for the first time here in the 2026 Manhattan Beach Open. And it's 7-1. The timeout indeed called. What a reversal.
We'll take an early team timeout. Timeout at 7-1. Oh, well, hello, AVP 360. What's going on out here? Go check it out.
A quiet players box for the moment.
AVP 360, feeling good up here. Got the stands, we got a little shade up there as well. We don't need shade down here. Yeah, we're fine. We want to feel the sun. We don't need shade. There you go. Is that your brother?
I'm not helping you at all, so
Are you the parents?
do something else.
It probably wouldn't be good if only one of them got a mini ball, would it? Would that make your ride home a little bit harder?
The reigning two-time champions of the Progressive AVP Manhattan Beach Open with not a lot to say here, down 6 in the second set.
Yeah, I feel like when timeouts are called this early in a set, there's rarely too much that needs to be said, right? We need to pass the ball, we need to hit the ball in the court. Those are kind of givens. You don't need to really rehash that too much between yourselves.
A lot of service pressure to open here in this set from Van Winkle, Van Winden. Should it just be Van Winkle, Winden? Brasher gets this one, and that proves to be a winning combination here. He says, as you pointed out, they were working on Cruz quite a bit.
Yeah, that's an attempt to serve middle, I think, that just kind of veered Brasher's way, but it is a little bit of a mistake to let them off the hook by giving Brasher a chance to intercede.
Van Winkle into the sand, back up, down that line. A sprinting Cruz scores.
Yeah.
In there, 2 straight out of timeout.
I mean, there's so much to like about this Brasher Cruz team, but one of my favorite elements is the tempo of their transition game. Kristen digs that ball and pops right up and starts sprinting towards the net because she's going to get that low tempo bump set. Just puts so much pressure on the defense on the other side of the net.
I feel like Kristen Cruz would have been really good in a breakdown drill in football, and she does it again. Into the sand, out of the sand, onto the scoreboard, 7-4.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an early pull there that time in transition if you're Van Winden. I like that strategy generally speaking, but you've got to time it well. Can't let Cruz see that she's got a wide open net. She'll just chop you up.
Little 3-0 mini run here, trying to get back in the second set. And there's some heat to stamp out that fire that started burning for Brasher and Cruz.
Well, extra acoustics on that swing. Pop off the hand of Van Winden.
I like it. Van Winden burst onto the scene on the indoor side at UCLA as a freshman. Would go on to play beach, Florida State. Oh, that ball is wide right. Everything about that attack looked good except the landing spot if you're a fan of Brasher and Cruz. 9-4. Timeout already taken.
Yeah, that's one of those things we're just not used to seeing. We see it from just about everyone else, but not Kristen Cruz. 6 errors.
She'll feed her partner that time on 2. So Brasher trying to take a little pressure off Kristen Cruz as she continues to see the lion's share of attempts in service reception. And I think Katie Spieler has so far stiffed Drew Hamilton on every pass. He has not given him 1-5. He has been left hanging.
It's like she's treating him like Big Earn said to treat Roy Munson. Take a wide berth.
Big block there. So you can do it a few different ways. Blocking for Taryn would be an upgrade for the defending champ.
Yeah, that's excellent. Watch her slide over, see that that pass is tight, and just get her hands in front of that. Abby didn't have too much range on that tight pass.
That ball is short. There's another one. 8 blocks on the tournament coming in for Taryn Brasher. 39 digs for her partner behind her. Both of them hitting north of 430 on the tournament. So that number off here for Kristen Cruz. Strangely, that's been part of the story here in the second set, but they are back within 2. Make it 1.
I mean, keep in mind, it was 7-1 when Cruz and Brasher called the timeout. So this is a 7-2 run they made immediately after that timeout.
So we will have both timeouts burned here before we get to 10 in set number 2. Van Winkle, Van Winden trying to stay alive, having lost the first set 21-17. Road for Brasher and Cruz. It's been a short path to get to this semifinal, as short as possible, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's kind of like the minimum amount of work. It's like how I used to try and approach my Saturday chores at home. The minimum amount of work. And all of those teams, you mentioned the Lorraine Quiggle match. That was the closest, 21-19, 21-19. Even the Anderson Chacon match, it seemed like they were in it. There's just 1 or 2 small little leaks, and that's when you're torched against this Brasher Cruz team. Here, that is the challenge if you're Van Winkle and Van Winden. You have this great start, but now you've kind of let it slip away a little bit. How do you recapture the level of execution that got you that big lead? You can't let errors creep into your game. That plays right into the hands of Brasher and Cruz.
Now, Brasher and Cruz are going to make plays. They're going to transition a couple of balls here or there. You can't add to what they're doing, as both teams are struggling offensively here in this set. To our 9-8 release from the second timeout. Here we go. It's time for the players to decide it. Sand timeouts will be your only relief from this point forward. Big swing, dig there. Do you come back with more heat? Van Winkle. No, you cut it for the winner. Take a little off, find the spot, 10-8.
I love that adjustment too. Go about 70% with a little extra angle. Great put away from Van Winkle.
That ball is long. Can she get there? Yes, she can, but it cannot be a third contact. Another pulling dig, almost in the DMZ there. Kind of no man's land. Dig by Taryn Brasher, hands overhead.
That's the rebranded no man's land on the beach volleyball court. Little DMZ. I loved.
Well, there is fire. You might take some flack there from the opposing team.
Shrapnel avoided, kill obtained. Yeah, my favorite part of that is not only the pull dig, but Kristen Cruz kind of working her way in the direction, right? So that soft touch from Taryn off the hands is right in the range where Kristen can put up a good bump set to transition for that point.
Our second set has turned into a race to 11, win by 2, now at 10-10. The early advantage erased. Brasher and Cruz were down 7-1. If you just joined us here in set number 2, Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn. And on the stand, Cameron Irwin, as we get to the technical timeout here. Both teams have burned their individual timeouts, their team timeouts, before this point.
Yeah, this is a great, crisp, deep line shot from Abby Van Winkle. Good to have that little advantage at the midway point, but when you start 7-1, you don't feel like you're going to be just barely in front at the technical timeout. You would have hoped for a little bit more. Now, how do you respond in the second half of the set?
Abby Van Winkle still new to defending. She's looking like she's been there for quite a while. A number of very nice runs, layouts, and then dig opportunities.
Yeah, it may be that she's always been a defender that's been incorrectly pinned at the net because of her height.
Okay, matching. How about job matching there? perhaps finding her home. It reminds me of a Casey Patterson kind of a moment where Casey went from being kind of a tweener, doing some blocking at the net, to a full-time defender and found a successful home and in that role, being so deadly in transition.
Yeah, he was one of the more terminal defenders of all time. When he created scoring opportunities, his ability to convert them was otherworldly.
Or Trevor Crabb could be another good example on the men's side of switching to that full-time defense position, as the side out of the technical is easily accomplished by the #1 seed.
Yeah. Shockingly, we'll get to it a little bit later in today's action, but Trevor Crabb not a part of Championship Sunday for the first time in, I don't know, seemingly a decade.
There's a winning shot, so 12-11. Side out game going to have to be near perfect here for the VWs. They were Team Pink VW yesterday. Off the net, there's that move perfected. Third time is the charm.
Whether a block or a dig, it is a point. Tori Van Winden.
She's been getting ever closer to the net with this move.
Yeah, you see how important just shaping your hands is there as she kind of turns the shoulders towards the court and gets rewarded for it.
Same matchup there. She manages to pop that one up. 3 contacts on the far side. Van Winkle, here comes the heat. No, here comes a winning shot right down the line, and the lead is theirs once again, 14-11.
Yeah, the precision of that shot is what was key there for Abby Van Winkle. That ball all the way to the sideline and needed to be. You could see Kristen Cruz on the move in that direction. Very nearly coming up with that dig, but that shot too good, too precise.
A little 3-1 run, actually 4-1 if we go back to 10-10 here. Jumbo not executed well. Van Winkle makes him pay. Now 5-1 from 10-10.
Yeah, those little slap shots are fantastic because you see Kristen Cruz in the right neighborhood, but just doesn't have time to make any kind of move when you're hitting that 70% slap cross court.
Service error will end all that momentum. I hate that. I feel like you get to a point where you've scored perhaps 3 points is the minimum, where in is better than anything else.
Correct. Yeah, with each subsequent point you score, the pressure mounts on the team trying to side out. You just have to keep the ball on them.
Another big swing. With their ability to just push the ball anywhere within about 6 feet of the net is impressive for Van Winkle, Van Winden.
Yeah, they talked about that hitting window being large as 2 women north of 6 feet. And there's a good look at it. Heavy heat right up the middle.
16-12.
We wondered how they would respond at 11-10. They responded well.
Yeah, with aplomb. I know you like a good vocabulary word, Rich.
Indeed.
Cruz off the net, going jumbo high. Van Winkle running to the line once again. And terminating. That's been her best move, to her left to the line.
Well, it's really the patience of that move, too, that impresses me. She didn't jump early. You can see her, almost that little tennis hop to get her balance neutral. And then that is a great put away from the body.
7-1 run to open, 7-2 run to reopen here from 10-10. And another missed serve.
Yeah, that's been the only hiccup in this fantastic second half run in this second set. A couple service errors.
Push set. Executed right to the back line.
Yeah, just the synchronicity between these two is fantastic right now. Both set each other well. The offensive variety that they're both capable of is fantastic.
Yeah, an authoritative second set.
Don't try and get in my good graces.
Pulling a little bit late there. You said earlier, maybe you looked a little late there, the pull from Van Winden.
Yeah, the late pull in my opinion, is better than the early pull.
Okay.
It at least causes some hesitation. You know, you can do the right thing and have it not be successful quite a bit on the beach.
Error there for the VUWs, 18-15.
That's kind of the caveat to the set that's a little far off the net, right? Is if you're in early, then it becomes a problem. You have the big hitting window, but you got to stay behind the ball.
Tough pass, difficult swing. Got enough on it to make it a winner.
She did. I mean, that is a ball we're accustomed to seeing Kristen Cruz control with relative ease, but there was a little extra pop on that swing from Van Winkle.
Pretty low error performance there. 12 kills, 3 errors, 12 digs. Very nice.
12 and 12 is nice.
Double-double on the board already. Into the middle goes Cruz, and down the line for the winner. We're working a little inside-out game there.
I think that last swing from Van Winkle was kind of the critical point in this second set. I think if it gets to 18-16, that becomes a little, you know, you start to hear the footsteps behind you from Brasher Cruz. 19-16 feels a lot more comfortable, I think.
Bump set all the way to the outside. Cruz dug into the pocket. She makes the play, and there's another turn.
That's more Cruz-like. Perfect control on the dig. She's not only in the right spot, but again, the quality of contact. She's purposely laying that right up on top of the tape. Taryn Brasher.
Van Winkle Winden hitting 333 here to 167 on the other side. They're looking for just a couple. They're going to look for them a little more quickly. Remember, they used their team timeout earlier. Now 19-18. I'm willing to bet Kristen Cruz does not miss this next serve.
You said it, no stoppages. That's a nice little show and take there. Taryn setting up inside and then jumping laterally to close that line down.
Critical play here. Cruz, another dig. Brasher, another turn, and we are tied at 19. This back and forth second set.
That was a little bit tentative to me, I feel like. She's been so good with those 70% shots, but that one was kind of a little bit fluffed and too towards the corner. You got to chop off a little more angle when you pull the pace off.
TKN chance reigning here in Manhattan Beach. Better late than never for the side out, and now a set point.
And that's a great put away over the top of the block, but credit that set. Backpedaling bump set juice, not an easy thing to accomplish. Van Winden lays up a beauty.
Van Winkle Winden for the set. Brasher on 2. We're going overtime, 20 apiece.
Yeah. And Brasher's fired up. She wants to close this out in straight sets if possible. A little extra oomph on the familiar hand-slapping celebration.
Trip to our championship match, which will be on the CW later today, on the line here. Could be in this set for Brasher and Cruz. There's the sprint to the line. Cruz back up. And cutting for the winner. They are now at a match ball.
Would you expect anything different, Kevin?
Hey, how do you become world #1? How do you become U.S. #1? Plays like that.
Yeah, the footwork there, you see how quickly she gets to that ball, and that gives her the balance to hit that unbelievable cut shot for the winner.
Match ball for the reigning champs. Brasher can't get a hold of that one. Blackjack on the board. Who has insurance? We know Progressive has it.
Another handshake snub for Drew.
Oh, if you haven't visited Drew throughout, don't give it to him during. Here we go, 21 apiece, looking for the advantage. Remember, they've been transitioning a whole bunch of balls here in the second. Van Winden at the net. Van Winkle in defense and with the service. That pass. Short, she loves that short. Van Winkle underneath it. Close to the net. Cannot get the winner. And then everyone seed does what they do. No.
Yeah, that is that ball.
Lots of dispute. Maybe over, maybe not. Not ruled over.
From my vantage point, that looked like it was right on top of the tape. I think Brasher does a nice job of not continuing through and letting her hand kind of go over into the opposite airspace. Have a look here. That's going to be a tough angle to see whether it's right on. Yeah, you can see her hand completely stays on her side of the net, which is pretty indicative that the ball was at least partially on top of the tape. That's all it takes. There's a little sliver. There's a great look at it, yeah.
That was about as close as it could be.
That seems legal.
Correctly called, and yeah, I mean, that's happening as close to our up official as humanly possible.
Match ball number 2. Cruz under it.
Yeah.
Brasher puts it away, and they are headed to their 3rd straight final.
Brasher and Kristen Cruz.
Coach Drew Hamilton shrugging his shoulders, shaking his head at different points during that second set. But he has to be pleased with that result and be fairly accustomed to his girls working their way out of just about any situation they find themselves in on a beach volleyball court. Fantastic, gritty effort, particularly in the second there from the #1 team in the world. You have to really, really like the upside of the VWs, however. They played a great volleyball match.
Overcoming runs of 7-1 and 7-2 for Van Winkle and Van Winden. Kristen Cruz and Taryn Brasher are on to the final. The #1 seed advances all the way to our championship match, which will be on the CW later today, as the afternoon sun and beauty of Manhattan Beach will be on full display. We still have our other semifinal yet to come. The LA Launch facing the Miami Mayhem, 2 league teams trying to get to a final opportunity to face the Austin Aces, who are undefeated in terms of sets and headed to another final. Brasher and Cruz, we'll see them later today.